Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reload and Closet. Today we're out here at the range doing a little bit of load development. I have here a 6-hour M400 franking gun. The only thing that's on it is still 6-hour. It's a lower receiver, and that's it. Everything else has been swapped out, changed. The reason why the upper receiver is black, it's a BCM upper. I just got that. Been doing a little bit of accuracy testing with this gun. Been trying out different things, whether it be lapping the upper receiver or tweaking different things here and there. So this is the next step. BCM uses a heat fitting method of putting the barrel in the upper receiver. So you have to get the upper receiver hot for the barrel to sit in there. That gives it a much tighter connection to the barrel. So we'll see if it makes a difference. I got 5 rounds here of 55 grain Federal 223. Since I did all the adjustments, the zero's probably off, so I got a target downrange, and I'm gonna get this thing zeroed. That way, when we're doing our load development, it's not too far off for where the target is. And that was all the footage that I got from the range. Had people kept showing up, wanting to shoot, everything else. And I don't know, I always felt kind of awkward to be sitting there trying to film videos and things like that when somebody else there is there at the range, and I didn't want to impede on their range time, in which doing this definitely would have, trying to shoot the video. So I ended up just shooting all the loads that I had after getting everything sighted in. All in all, it was a good test. I was not a fan of the numbers insofar as standard deviations and extreme spreads that I was getting. But the good sign is, as you can see here, I have the brass lined up. I have a nice new foam mount, so hopefully my camera lines and views will be much more pleasing. But I was just going through all the brass, checking for signs of pressure. And as far as to my knowledge, when checking for pressure on, let's say, an AR, your biggest sign is going to be your primer pockets. You'll definitely be able to tell if you look at a primer pocket of a normal spent casing. Pulling up here, get the focus. All right, you see where the firing pin has hit the primer, and you can see the rounded edges of the primer. Typically, when you fire an overpressure round, that primer gets pushed back against the bolt face because that power is so great, path of least resistance, pressure's got to go somewhere. All right, so instead of blowing up the entire chamber, all right, that pressure pushes back, one, against the bullet obviously going down the barrel, and the other is the primer getting pushed back against the bolt face. So that primer will get smashed, flattened against the bolt. What that will look like is that you can see that in between the primer in the shell casing, there's that little valley that goes all the way around. All right, that primer will get so smashed that it'll be flat. It'll be completely flat. I'll see if I can put some pictures into the video of what flattened primers look like. But as you can see here, that one looks good. Now this was one of the highest pressure rounds that I fired. Let's see if I can get this in there. It's kind of tough to see. Actually, it's upside down. Okay, so this was 26.7 grains at an overall length of 2.25. By the way, most accurate load shot today, or shot while at the range. And you can even see the ridges are fine, and there's no primer cratering. All right, so we have our first group here. 26 grains at 2.23 inches. Gave us a standard deviation of 39 and an extreme spread of 97 with an average velocity of 2,883 feet per second, and that group measuring at 1.28 MOA. Coming in number 4 of the 6 total loads that we shot as far as accuracy. So not the best numbers, not terrible accuracy out of an AR. I mean, if anybody could shoot a group at 1.2 inches at 100 yards with an AR, that's pretty decent. But if you're doing like factory load ammunition, now since we're hand loading, obviously I'm a little bit more peculiar. I want to be at least half an inch group. All right. So this group at 25.5 grains, an overall length at 2.25. Sorry if it keeps on going in and out of focus. I'm trying to look at two things at once. All right. Average speed of 2894 feet per second. Standard deviation of 34. Extreme spread of 89. And a 0.97 MOA accuracy. So accuracy was there, but insofar as velocity and standard deviation, extreme spread, not the best choice. All right, so moving down to the next one at 26.5 grains and cartridge over length at 2.23. Try to get that in focus. All right, pretty decent group. I was actually surprised at this one. That round off to the right is actually not exactly a flyer, but it is the last round, and I think that might have been just me maybe rushing the shots. I couldn't see the group as I was shooting it, but I do know I did look at the first 4 shots because I was helping one of the guys that was out there at the range. So I looked at it and thought, well, that's actually a really good group. So if I just grouped those 4 rounds right there together, I think it measures right about 3/4 of an inch, maybe just over. And then that one right there, the outlier, kind of messing it up, but it is what it is. The rest of the numbers, this one 26.5, okay, a 2899 average muzzle velocity with a standard deviation of 12 and an extreme spread of 34. So those numbers are pretty decent. And 1 MOA accuracy. Like I said, without that one off to the right, probably would have been about 3/4 or just a hair over, which I am 100% absolutely okay with. But again, our speed, 2899. I'm still 100 feet per second under where I want to be. And this brings us to this last group. You see this little guy right there? Yep, that was me again. Third or fourth shot. Like I said, somebody else was at the range shooting next to me, and he happened to shoot, milliseconds before I pulled the trigger, and it just caused me to naturally flinch and throw it off. So, but this one at 26.7 grains and an overall length at 2.25 gave me an average muzzle velocity of 29.27, a standard deviation of 10, and an extreme spread at 23. Now, those numbers are absolutely perfect minus muzzle velocity, but it kind of points me in the right direction I think we might need to just go a little bit faster, in which I'll get into that in the next segment of this video. But accuracy, if I do include the flyer, was 2.49, which is, no, I mean, I can do that with factory loaded ammunition all day long. That's not a problem. With hand loaded, I need to be better. All right. And then with those 4 shots right there, I had an accuracy of 0.91 MOA. So that one, I'm gonna load it again. I'm gonna load another 5 rounds of this one, and I'm gonna shoot it again. I just want to see if the accuracy is there. This one, and then the last group. This one was the most high pressure per se, but still no signs. But you can definitely tell that accuracy was degraded. Here we're at an average muzzle velocity at 29.62 feet per second, a standard deviation of 32, and extreme spread of 71. So those numbers right there are absolutely terrible. And then accuracy was the worst out of all the groups shot at 1.61 inches or 1.6 MOA. So that is the recap from range day. I'm sorry I didn't get any more video of me shooting, but I posted some of my results on one of the reloading pages, and got in talking to somebody who's dealing with some predictive reloading software, and I'm not a huge fan of trying to predict loads. I much rather just load up some small segments and see what's working, see what's trending, and then build a load off of there. I think I'd actually save a lot more ammo doing it that way versus taking predictive software and trying to chase a rabbit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it might not. But he's trying to verify the numbers, so I'm giving him all the data that I shot from this past range, given you know, my speeds, my accuracy, all the loads that I shot, case overall length, cartridge length, or sorry, case length and cartridge overall length. It plugs into this data calculator, and it gives some predicted where nodes might be. And nodes deals with the swing of the barrel. So when you shoot and you fire a gun, the barrel actually vibrates. It's really neat to watch underneath the high-speed camera, and you can literally watch the barrel whip back and forth every time you shoot. That harmonics of the barrel affects accuracy, and finding the perfect load that tunes or coincides with the tune and the barrel whip is what gives you the most accurate. And there's different nodes at different speeds. So he did give me some recommendations insofar as where the program is predicting nodes. So it's giving me, I'm going to load up another 50 rounds of this, and we are at this point going over book values, but according to his program, pressure signs are well under about 10,000 psi underneath max pressure. And looking at my brass, I'm not seeing any kind of telltale signs of extreme pressure or overpressure, but I will work this up safely, starting again with the 26.7 grain load, and all at this point all cartridge lengths will be at 2.25, and then from there I'll work up to a max load of 27.8. And just like I did with this one, after firing each of those 5 rounds, actually when I first started firing the first couple of rounds of each load, I'm always checking the brass for pressure. And then if I start to see, oh, you know, that one, it might be a little hot, at that point I'll stop the test, and I'll end up pulling all the bullets and dumping all the powder. But I think we should be good to at least get up to 27, at least 27.6. It might be getting a little hot at that point. But your book maxes are usually pretty conservative. You'll see it with Hornady more so than Sierra. If you look at the max load for Hornady for this typical style of bullet, I think max is like 25.8 grains. of powder. So you gotta take with a grain of salt, and obviously the first load you load it, you don't want it to be book max. You want to work up to that, and then if you can, work past. Well, that completes pretty much the first video series of reloading basics. I think I did pretty good. I had a couple of recommendations insofar as camera angles and things like that, and I will revisit like trimming again, maybe getting a different angle on that, and then as well as sizing, or not sizing, but seating. I know that video, that angle probably wasn't the best, and as well as measuring powder charges and how that scale works and everything else. I should be able to get, I'm just gonna mess around with this real quick. I can get some pretty good camera angles now. I won't be able to get it perfectly online with the scale. It has to be way down to get that. But overall, I think that using this mount should make things a little bit better. It does wobble a little bit. I'll probably cut the wobble out when I do editing. Let's see here. Yeah, so you'll be able to get a good shot of what's going on with sizing and everything else. I'm actually testing out this new primer catcher system. This thing is awesome. I just deprimed like 10 rounds, and it feeds them into this primer tube, or this tube down here below. You can really see it right here. Okay, and I don't have primers going all over the place now. It is significantly better than the system that comes with the RCBS rock chucker. So looking forward to getting to depriming all this brass and getting back and working up some more loads. Hopefully I'll next time at the range, and hopefully I get a little more peace and quiet, I'll do a little bit more video and range time, giving you an idea of how that all works and what I'm doing. It's pretty simple, really. I'm just sitting at the range and shooting, but I'll give you the interaction with the chronograph and the numbers that I'm seeing and everything else. So hey, thanks for watching. Till next time.